Okay, so here is a video for college algebra. Specifically, this is going to be homework number 3, question number 9. This is the one where they give you 3 circles and you have to figure out, like, triangulate, as it were, the center where all these circles tend to overlap to find out what's going on here. So, the geological study, you can have a forest fire. Sometimes I do that, but any kind of thing like that. And then we have centers and then radiuses. The first time I did this problem, I got a little confused because I just picked a radius in any direction, and I got confused with what was going on with that. What I would recommend you do is this tool right down here. It says plot a point. This is the tool that I would use to plot all of my points. So we're going to go ahead and hit the center. Okay, we're going to go ahead and plug in the center. This is going to be -10, comma, -7. No guarantees it's going to come out exactly right. So plot point, and you can see very, very faintly here that there's a little X right here where the center is supposed to be. Now, we need one more point, because when you plot the circle, use this tool, it's going to say find the center. It's going to say find one point away from the center on the edge. So what I want to do is I want to put a little X where one of the edges of the circle is. Now, you can pick anything you'd like. What I'd like to do is say, okay, the radius is 13 back from up here, and I'm going to push this thing off to the left. So, guys, I don't want the circles to overlap with each other. I don't want them to be kind of separate, so I can make out which one is which. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, if we go to the left another 13 points, we're going to be at the point -23. That's the center of 10, and then 13 over more to the left. And did we change our elevation at all? No. So we're just going to have that as a plotted point. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this off so we can see this is our center and here is our edge. So we can go ahead and plot a circle from there. Okay, we might do that now. But I'm gonna keep plotting points so that I can see what's going on first. Okay. Depending on your organizational skills and how well you can see this graph, because my eyesight's kind of crummy at this point in my life, it's hard for me to see this screen the way it is and try to do everything. So I'm just going to keep plotting points, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, let's get the next point, and that was the center was at 10, -8. So we're going to say 10, -8. Say plot point. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to pick something. We could go up, we could go to the right, we can go down. I'm looking at my third point, which is -1, -6. That's going to be down here somewhere. So I think I'm going to go over to the right with this one, just to keep this circle out of the way of the third circle. So what we're going to do is we are just going to move over to the right 10 points. Okay, so I just need a radius of 10. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and say we need the point 20, -8. We'll plot that point. You'll see that, hey, we've got a point 20, -8. So when I go to plot this circle, it's going to be here and then this one as well. The last one, okay, is going to be -1, -6. Plot that point. That should be down here somewhere. I can kind of see it made it out over here. We're kind of okay. And again, how big is this one? And this was a radius of 5, it looks like. Okay, find, yeah, 5 right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down 5 points. Okay, so we're going to stay at the same X value, so -1. And then instead of -6, we're going to sort of move down another 5 points. That's going to be -11. And plot that point. Okay, so we should have 3 kind of distinct points on here. I think I kind of make them out. Okay, and we'll just plot in a whole bunch of circles. I'm kind of hoping this is going to work. So our first circle, we put our center in for our first circle, so we can go ahead and find this one, and hopefully you guys are a little bit better at this than I am. And then we'll go ahead and find a point on the radius, which looks like this guy right here. You have to be real careful, and even that, I may not have quite got it. Okay, And then the second circle, we'll go ahead and plot that one. So it looks like I've got this one, and then we are plotting a point on the circle. So we're here. Okay, for the third one, we are plotting our center, and then we're going to move. Oh, that wasn't it. Let's get rid of that one. Oh no, that was okay. I want this one, and then we're going to move down to about here. All right, and those are my 3 points that I plotted. Now, this is kind of I mean, it's a neat problem to kind of deal with. Like we talked about this in class a little bit, and I just kind of mentioned like there's no real good way. I mean, there's one thing you could possibly do to make this a little bit easier to deal with, and that would be like to draw a triangle for the 3 of these things. It's not a great triangle, and kind of figure out the medians, the middle parts of the triangle, and get the center of the triangle that would connect all 3 of the centers together. So that might be a thing we could do to solve this piece. So you might want to connect these 3 points here with a triangle and just find the median, find the center of that triangle, which is just going to be the average of each of the ordinates to find out the midpoints of each of these, and then just kind of see if you can't find like a way to kind of connect those points, and then whatever that center is going to be your center point. So that would be like the way to do this, the most analytic way, but they didn't actually ask for that. After they asked us to go ahead and graph this thing, so I think I went ahead and graphed it. So we'll go ahead and say check, and hopefully, yeah, I didn't like it. So here's the problem. What didn't it like? The radius of the circle edge was incorrect. Yeah. So I'm kind of looking at this like maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure. But you have to be real careful with the centers for these things, and this is kind of a fine point for me to kind of deal with this. Let's go ahead and recheck it so we can see how close we are with this picture versus how close they are with this picture. Okay, and say, okay, we have our picture and their picture. Okay, I can see it's a little bit off, perhaps. But if you're just a couple of pixels off, they're going to get mad at you to do this. At some point, you have to decide how much time you really want to take with this thing. And getting a good grade on homework is a really good choice. But getting 100% on your homework, this might be more time than this point is worth. I'm just going to say it that way. So, because the precision that Alex expects us to have is a little bit out of hand for what the homework is always going to be worth. So I don't want to tell you like, hey, leave points on the table, but at some point you're going to say, I think we've done as much as we can with this, and we're just going to say we're close enough. You can have that point. I'm not going to worry about it. And that's like we're not going to worry about trying to go for perfection. I know some of you guys who like perfection, you like the 100%. I get it, and I like that. But at the same time, we are kind of at the mercy of what's the best homework system we have. I'm not going to say it's this one, but this was the least worst option we had. And at this point, we have to estimate the location, okay, which is going to be like where these guys overlap. And you kind of see like where they overlap, there's kind of a big region, right, where they overlap. It could be anything in here. So your guess is as good as mine. It's probably better. So you're probably better off with your vision to see exactly where this thing is located. Okay, so the best thing I can tell you to do is kind of guess for it or do the medians for the triangles. But I would say, guess for it. But, after you've done this problem a few times, like once, you might say, you know what, I got the idea for what this problem is going to do. I'm just not going to keep myself up at night trying to finish this one point for this one homework. I apologize that this wasn't a better problem to allow you to get the 100% on the homework, but this problem, and there are a couple of them like this. It's like every once in a while you find a problem like this. It's just like it's a good problem to see, it's a good problem to do, which we have to come to terms with the fact of like we're not going to get perfect on this one. And if we do, either, okay, great, you got lucky, that happens. Or it's just like, it's just not worth the hours to redo this problem over and over and over again in order to really nail this thing down. So I would say live with the fact that it's a 99% and not worry about the 100%. Just don't, let it go. So I hope that helps a little bit with how you're supposed to do this problem, and gives you some kind of like realization that, the homework is worth like a percentage of your grade, but getting 100% on all of the homework is not a realistic goal, and not to keep yourself up at night trying to go for that. Those last scraps of points are just the tools that we have to do this just aren't the best tools that we have to actually allow us to complete that. So thank you very much for watching the video. Good luck, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow in class.